How coaching can cultivate an interpersonal spirit in driving innovation among employees. Before today we dive really deep into this topic, firstly I would like to tell about myself. My name is Himani Deswal. I'm from India and currently living in UK, and I'm a founder of our platform, which is which is a women holistic platform where we provide the coaching and personal branding services to organizations and individuals through global pool of certified coaches and personal branding experts. And if I talk about this topic, why we have picked this topic? Because of if I talk about there are different challenges, but basic if I talk about two major challenges. One, the organization face is about the employee disengagement at work. And if I talk about one of the Gallup report as per 2022, they have found that 70% of the global workforce is not engaged at work. And this is one of the bigger challenges for the organization, how to engage their workforce into the different activities which can increase the productivity for the company. And this lack of engagement translates to loss of trillions of dollars to businesses annually. And if we talk about another challenge, which has been mentioned by one of the report of 2023 McKinsey Global Survey, which has revealed that 70% of the CEOs believe that companies are not very innovative. And the same survey found that entrepreneurial skills are a significant source of innovation for many companies. And with this survey, if I take you with some of the like recent, or I would say some of the connected examples, which even I have seen with around my corporate life also, and with myself also, is like a lot of employees have the great ideas, but they really lack the confidence or support to pursue them. And now here, if I mention is like coaching is there, but now how coaching can really help the employees identify those skills and unlock that potential to help the people change their mindset, which will help them to become the entrepreneurs. And if I talk about one more survey today, which is by the study by the Pearson, which has found that coaching programs can lead up to 21% increase in creativity and 33% increase in innovation. And by cultivating an entrepreneurial spirit, coaching can help companies bridge the innovation gap and gain a competitive edge. And today, to make our discussion more interesting, we have invited business coach Devang Patel from Ahmedabad, India, who is a seasoned professional with over 2 decades of experience in coaching, consulting, and facilitation. And he's also the founder of Vantage Point Executive Performance Coaching, specializing in fostering the business growth. So it's really my pleasure today to welcome here and really ask his insights on this topic. So please welcome. Please, if you can introduce about yourself.
Thank you, Imani. It's always a pleasure to talk about how coaching can lead to entrepreneurial growth and the new term which is emerging these days called corporate entrepreneurship or intrapreneurship. It deals with the fact that the employees within the organization who have the potential need to be coached to work as entrepreneurs within the organization. My name is Devang, and I am a business growth coach. And I have been working in the corporate entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship area for quite some time now. Been a mentor at many incubators nationally and internationally, been an investor in a few startups, and have conducted quite a few programs, faculty development programs, and corporate management development programs for the field of entrepreneurship development. So I live, talk, and breathe entrepreneurship in my DNA, Himani. Thank you for having me here. And it will be a pleasure to share some of my experiences relating to how coaching can build entrepreneurial growth mindset in high aspiring and positive organizations. Over to you, Himani. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So before we jump into our today's discussion, let's set the stage for the audience who will going to listen us. Entrepreneurship is all about fostering an entrepreneur's mindset within the employees of the company, encouraging them to think creatively and take ownership of the innovative projects. Could you share your thoughts why this is so crucial for the companies today?
These days, we are living in what is called as the VUCA world: vulnerability, ambiguity, and etc. So, in my consulting experiences and in my coaching experiences, Himani, I have found that senior managers and leaders have to grapple with managing, leading, and taking work from two types of employees. The first is the generation Z. Now, these are people, those who are born in the internet generation. They believe in fast type of work. They want fast rewards. They want instant gratification. They are smart, they are logical, and they are entrepreneurial. And they don't want to work under strict, powerful bosses who follow what is the model called tell and sell. When we grew, we had bosses who laid down the structure for us. We had bosses who did not allow us permission to be free. And they followed a model which was one way, my way, highway, and follow that way. So this is category one of employees. Category two employees, people like us, maybe age bracket between 35 to 45, who are facing a midlife crisis. Their routines have taken them over. They want to do now something new. They have the capital, but by the financial constraints of their family, they may not be able to leave their jobs. But still, they are feeling frustrated on their self. They want to now prove themselves. They may not be eligible for senior leadership positions or maybe have been kept out of the promotion cycle, but they have within them. Now, in this context, senior managers and owners of enterprises who are dealing with these two contrast of set of people, the old styles of management won't work. And intrapreneurship is the only way out to help get the maximum out of them. I'll tell you one more thing.
Yeah.
If you do not give entrepreneurial energy, if you do not support their entrepreneurial potential, a middle-aged employee either will leave or will start a business on his own or will start a business after leaving the organization. He will come, he will follow all minimum guidelines, and he will cause more harm to the organization than good. The Gen Z, if not managed properly, will create a cultural issue in the organization and will create a loss for the organization. So according to me, in current context, global, and this is industry agnostic, all individuals with, and I'm not telling all have this potential, only few have it. But for those who have this energy, entrepreneurial energy, they have to be treated as employee entrepreneurs and not as normal employees. And this is a demand and a big, big call to action for senior leaders. And we all, as senior leaders and coaches, have to work very fast for this. And it's a need of the hour, Himani. Thank you.
So before I ask you the next question, into this discussion, I want to ask you one question here. There is a lot of attrition rate which we are seeing today in the organizations,
Yes.
and still even the if I talk about the within the family circle, leaders when they see their own kids at home and their family, they are aware about this thing. But when they come back to the organizations, still they are not able to go with that pace. The technology is changing, that they were fast, the changes is also changing, but still they are not able to come at that level. And what do you think is like what is really making the struggle for the leaders at this moment?
Very good question. The leaders themselves are not growing. This is the biggest problem. And they have not kept pace with the evolution of technology. And they are continuing their old past practices of tell and sell. They're not delegating enough. They want to create power structures around themselves, and they want to work with structure, and they want to work with authority, and they want to work with dominance. And actually, in my recent coaching experience and consulting experience with large organizations, which I will refrain from naming as now, I have been appointed to actually change the leadership culture dynamics in the organization. A promoter of a big organization has about 19 leaders, multifunctional, and his complaint to me, I will not name the organization, his complaint to me is that, Mr. Devang, 19 leaders are following 19 different leadership styles in my organization. So I feel my organization has been cut short to 19 shorter organizations. And they're not willing to listen. They're not willing to grow. They're not willing to evolve. They're not willing to delegate. And I also cannot remove them because they are at important positions and they have stayed back in the organization for a long period of time. And the effect, which you mentioned very rightly, the employee, the junior within the team is facing frustration, is facing self-image issues, is facing like the leader has put a tiger in a cage. Now, you understand the crux. The leader himself or herself is not growing, and through his leadership dynamics, he is not allowing the junior also to grow. and the junior or the upcoming hero or the tiger or whatever name we want to call him or her, the only role left to him is to discontinue and to leave. And therefore, the only core reason for high attrition rates in large organizations is quality of leadership. People don't leave organizations, Himani.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
leave bad bosses. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
True.
go to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even so, with this, a very good thing was coming to me is like a lot of, especially of course, small companies also mid-sized, but especially with the big companies, they mention there are a lot of values onto their website, but many of the times they are not able to follow that when it comes to the internal culture. And these days, the young Gen Z, especially, it really matters to them what are the values, and they align their purpose and goal for the career future. And if I talk about like what I've worked throughout my life within India and last 1.5 year within UK, I can say one change which I've seen is that one of the reason Gen Zs want to have a work-life balance. They want to have their own personal goals to be changed. And a lot of companies are not able to provide that work-life balance to them. And I think this is something a gap which I find, which I've seen in UK market, the work-life balance is there, which is not there, and which is making also a lot of attrition rate is increasing. And a lot of youngsters also now want to shift abroad because they feel maybe they are able to enjoy that work-life balance or that cultural part into the other countries. Yeah.
So giving work-life balance is a direct output of intrapreneurship. I'll give you
Yeah.
Google example.
Yeah.
Google by policy money has allowed 20% of employee time for the employees to pursue all what they want. They can do jogging, they can do cycling, they can do business, they can do innovation, they can just sleep and chill, they can do
Mhm.
any. Now that is what I call work-life balance. Work-life balance at a young age would mean, am I allowed to do what I want to do within and outside office time? Does the organization give me scope to do what I love doing? Somebody may want to pursue a hobby and convert that hobby into a business activity. Somebody may want to help their family. Somebody may want to start a part-time economic activity. Somebody may want to do a business. My question to these organizations who do not allow all of these work-life balance is that, what are you asking for? Now, if you're given 8 hours salary or a payment to a human, have you bought him totally? What is time? What do leaders in big organizations make a mistake in doing a work-life balance misfit is, Himani, is that they feel they have bought the human. I mean, retrospectively, they have bought the human's time. There's a difference between bringing a human or buying a human and buying a human's time. And in this context, and there's no great work. Not all employees have 8 hour work. Please, not. I mean, so, and there's a contrast coming up. Gen Z is asking for work-life balance. The leader is wanting to control, and the organization is wanting attrition. And this triad is not being fulfilled. Is not being fulfilled. And therefore, the Gen Z is now moving towards what is called as a gig economy, where their entrepreneurial pursuits are followed. I want to work 4 hours a day. He will work 4 hours. I want to work 20 hours a day. He will work for 20 hours. Now, my question to the large and small growing organizations is, why can't you hire coaches in your organization? Why can't you do something? Why can't you change your HR structure? And not for all, but for a given few, to give them this work-life balance and to give them that slot where they're free to do all what they want to do. Maybe you want to deduct salary, fine, but then give that space of thinking, of moving, of some economic activity, of a hobby maybe. And please don't control humans. You just bought that time. Else, good people will leave. Water will
Yes.
find its way. So if you want to retain good people, you need to give them intrapreneurship cultures. You need to give them corporate entrepreneurship culture. You don't need to treat them as a salaried employee. You need to develop entrepreneurial content in them, and there are ways and methods, and not all will be developed, but you need to support them with all what they want and aspire to be. They're not your servants. They're humans at whatever level they work for. Himani, thank you.
Even sir, when you were saying this, a very good, reflect back happened with me is like that's the reason like a lot of young generation, a lot of people are coming with a lot of startups in India, which was it's like a wave right now going on, which was not earlier. Yeah, yeah. So,
So there will be no. So
yeah.
if you don't, if see,
Mm,
assume I'm working with you. You are my boss in my organization. I
mm,
will send you signals. I'm unhappy with you. I'm not okay with you. I want a change. I'm entrepreneurial. Please treat me separately. Give me more work. Give me a power. Give me autonomy. I can start a startup within the organization. I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 things. But you are coming from the old leadership mindset, and what you are telling me, shut up, do
Mm.
as I tell. Don't be over smart. Don't do more work. Sit down, follow my instructions. Now,
Yeah.
that person will leave, right? And then the only choice which he or she has to go for a startup. So I'm currently mentoring 3 startups from IIT Mumbai. IIT, for those who don't know, is one of the world's best organization. And freshers with 2 years of experience, IIT Bombay toppers, Imani, they've left their job. Not because they were wanting to do a startup since they were in college, but the organizational culture did not allow them free space to think.
Mm.
That's the reality. So they will, of course, start a startup, right? Yes, over to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So could you provide insights into the specific, if you talk about like, we talk about here like different coaching, okay? But could you also provide some specific, how the coaching can really play a significant role in nurturing that spirit and can, when you were mentioning, can also bring a lot of cultural change within the organization? And how can the people collaborate on the coaching strategies that can be used on the intrapreneurial mindset among the employees?
Very good question. So there can be some viewers who do not know what is coaching. Let me spend a minute on talking about coaching. So coaching is not mentoring. Coaching is not counseling. Coaching is not therapy. Coaching is not guidance. Coaching is not hand-holding. Coaching, as defined by the International Coaching Federation, is a process of asking questions. There's an assumption that once you ask questions, the person to whom the questions are asked, referred here as a coachee, will have the answers within. So your role is just to change the mindset. Your role as a coach is just to change and shift the stories which the person is talking to himself or herself about herself. Now, in an ideal coaching session, you present a perspective about a world to the coachee which he or she has not seen. Now, there are 2 things here. First, coaching is required for leaders, and we have to ask them some fundamental questions. What are you building up to? Why are you not willing to change your past leadership styles? What are you afraid of? What do you see on the other side if you give employees the power and the freedom to be entrepreneurial? Why are you not wanting to change your leadership practices? Have you imagined the loss that you're doing to yourself, your team, and the organization if you're not allowing employees to be entrepreneurial or developing an entrepreneurial spirit in them? So, extensive coaching needs to be given to the leaders for them to understand, feel, reflect upon the need for developing an entrepreneurial or an entrepreneurial mindset in the organization. Promoters also need a lot of coaching help. Promoters or founders need to be told that only way to grow is to grow with people. So if you don't build up your people, how will you grow? And people building would mean you run small enterprises or what we call as micro enterprises within your large enterprise, which are managed by the employees.
Mm.
So we have an employee who works as a CEO, thinks about a company, starts a company, and the capital is given by the corporation or the enterprise, and it is nurtured within the culture, context, and the resources of the organization. And we get a new firm
Mm.
within the old firm. Again, I give Google example. The founders, Gary Page and other the 2 founders, they have they have a CEO who is an entrepreneur. The current CEO, the Indian CEO, I forget his name. He's an entrepreneur. The whole enterprise has been given to him. You play with the firm. We will grow ahead. So the promoters also need to be given coaching to think through as growth, entrepreneurship as a method to grow in the organization. And last but not the least, people in the organization, those who are leaving, those who are
Mm.
frustrated, those who are not able to get things through, those who are Gen Z, those who are facing a midlife crisis, they need to be coached and be offered a perspective on the potential that lies within them, the growth that they can bring to the organization by starting individual small micro enterprises, staying within the organization. And let me also put a disclaimer here. Always, entrepreneurship is not about starting new organizations or building enterprises within an enterprise. It is also about displaying an entrepreneurial spirit in you being a normal simple employee. So there's a mindset which is called a problem mindset. Go to my boss with a problem. Can I go with a solution? Can I have 11 or 12 competencies which entrepreneurs have? Initiative, problem solving, tolerance to ambiguity, concentration, communication, creativity, others. Now, if 11 or 12 of these competencies are developed in normal employees, their productivity may expand from 30 to 80%. They may not start businesses, but they will have the entrepreneurial growth mindset. And that is only possible, not through training at all. Training will not help develop this. It is only coaching which will help do that. So answer to your question, sorry for the long answer, but answer to
No, no,
your,
no, no.
yeah,
Because when you're saying that, it is helping me a lot of reflection back with my own corporate world, very frankly, when you're talking.
yes,
I just
yes,
give for example is that when you mention about, intrapreneurial, very rightly you said, it is not only about starting a new business or firm. It is giving the employees that flexibility, and it will not only help them into like development, but it will also help the company to develop a product into a very innovative way. But another part which I want to touch here, which I really like, is that a lot of, if I talk about in India, Shark Tank is so famous these days. Okay, a lot of companies, people they come, they invest there. If those, I'm not saying those companies are not doing, them are doing it, but there are a lot of companies who go and invest, or maybe they call consultants, external consultants, to start some new business or put the investment there. If the same companies maybe find their employees within, maybe they can start something, they don't need to maybe
absolutely,
go out and invest there. And maybe
absolutely.
their own people who are leaving the job and trying to find out, okay, what business I can start, maybe they can get the same opportunity. And with that, not only they will contribute towards the new business, but will also put more efforts towards the existing work also. Yeah.
Absolutely. So again, that's an orientation.
Yeah.
I am an entrepreneur. I have a lot of money. I have capital. I have grown, but I have grown through my own merit. I have not created internal entrepreneurs. I
Yeah.
have created smart employees. And if I can grow this much big by creating smart employees, Himani,
Mm.
just imagine how much I can grow with smart entrepreneurs in my team.
Mm.
I can create a corporate group from a given corporate firm. And actually, you are absolutely right. Why
Mm.
am I not investing my capital in starting new enterprises? And why am I not inviting startup ideas from my own employees? I
Mm.
don't know, but I may have a fear. I may not have the structure. I do not know how to organize because fundamentally, the employee who converts himself to an entrepreneur is an employee first and an entrepreneur later.
Mm.
Now, for the consulting which I've done, and I've created entrepreneurs in multiple organizations, it requires a different kind of HR structure because the person who shows entrepreneurial potential needs to be given a separate office space, needs to be given time, needs to be given money, needs to be given freedom, and he or she has an access to the promoters, which access has to be given. So I give a small example. I was
Mm.
working with a large university in Gujarat, and I was a simple senior assistant professor at an X amount of salary. Now, the promoter, this is in 2010, the
Mm.
promoter saw in me the entrepreneurial potential. And with due respect, I was already doing a small business outside my university hours, which they knew, and it was all allowed, not a problem at all. Now, the owner, the trustee, he was around 5,000 crore market capital. He came to me and he told Devang, I see a lot of entrepreneurial potential in you. I've heard a lot about you. I want to offer you something. Can you give me your 3 extra hours outside the office hours, 4 to 7, and let us
Wow.
create a new training organization within the organization? And you will be surprised to know the amount of issues which I faced while
Mm.
this was happening because my boss saw it as a threat to him. My
Oh.
boss did not allow me to, so my boss would organize meetings sharp at 4 p.m. for me not to go there. So if I'm an intrapreneur, if I'm an internal entrepreneur, and the top management realizes potential, the top management is ready to give me money, ready to invest, as you told, ready to put capital, ready to bank upon me for me to start a small new division, new business, new product, new region, something new which will bring revenue to the org and at a revenue share basis. A time came, Himani, when my revenue from the part-time business work in my own organization was 2 times my salary for the 8 hours which I did.
Wow.
Now, that was my potential, and the
Yeah.
resources are of the organization. The students are of the organization. The peon is of the. So I created a small enterprise within the large enterprise. And now that enterprise has around 15,000 students in a part of Gujarat.
Oh, that's really great, sir. Because I know about yours, just, like about your background. I really know that you have worked so much into the like Gujarat area.
Yes,
But it is
yes,
really, like a lot of listeners who will hear this, it will become such an inspiration for them
yes.
also.
The
And
key, wait,
yeah,
one
sorry.
minute. The
Yeah,
key is in developing a system, in developing a structure, in
yeah.
developing a process to satisfy both needs. Now, if
Mm,
promoter comes to me and takes me aside from my core team, it is not okay. It
yeah.
is not okay. I'm again repeating for all those who have entrepreneurial potential, the first role is as an employee. So
Mm,
your first KRA is to satisfy the job role for which you've been recruited until your small enterprise becomes a large enterprise. You
mm,
have to respect your boss. You have to go to that meeting. There you are a junior employee. But in the enterprise where you are starting, you are the CEO of that enterprise,
yeah.
right? And here they give me different work time, they give me different solution, they give me a different work agreement, but not all organizations do it. When you mix both,
Mm,
chaos happens,
true.
right? Because I'm not able to know. So there's a call from my boss and there's a call from my customer. What
Mm,
call should I take? Yeah, and I'm
true.
treated positively. I receive more promotion. I get more money. I'm given preferential treatment. In a meeting where I go as a representative of my business, my boss is sitting with me. My
Mm.
boss doesn't know whether to see me as a future entrepreneur or a head of the department or to see me as his junior. Now, these are reflexes which come in, and this is
Yeah.
where coaching and HR structures and consulting can help because growth will only come if you develop an entrepreneurial culture, Himani. Thank you. Over to you.
So just one thing I would like to say here, it is like very important, like to fulfill the role which you are doing it as an employee. Because if you're
Yes,
not fulfilling it and maybe you're jumping and company maybe give the opportunity also, and maybe then you expect the same thing from maybe the people under you. If you're not fulfilling
yes,
yourself, how can you expect? So that is also very
yes.
good point which you mentioned. Yeah. And just one thing which want to mention here is like, when I was working throughout so many years, I was not able to think so creatively and innovative. But when I started my journey of coaching, I was able to think, a lot of different ideas. It helped me to bring that creativity and innovation within on me. Yeah. So, in the
But you left the
context of
organization. You were not an employee when you started your own, right?
yes,
So,
yes,
so that free. So the real question is that can I be given the same freedom while I'm working?
it
And the
was not in my
organization,
case.
yeah, and the
No.
organization lost you, right?
Yes.
That's the game. That's the game which we don't want to play.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Himani, 1 minute, just I'll speak for 30 seconds.
Yeah, sure.
High potentials shine everywhere.
Mm,
Assume there's a war between two countries, and on the left side there's an army, on the right side there's an army. On the left side there is one soldier who is getting the maximum hits on the enemy.
mm,
You'll be surprised to know the minister sitting in the government also knows
mm,
that this was the soldier who has hit maximum bullets. Performance always shines, whether you market it, whether you don't market it. But given an opportunity, if that soldier has not been given the added rank, not been given promotion, not been given the Paramir Chakra or whatever, he will die his own death for life. That's the game which you want to play. Guaranteed employment, you will not leave the organization, but you will not work full-fledged. That's the game. One more example I'll give. There's a political party whom one of my friends was consulting, and they were wanting to enter Gujarat. They are not a Gujarat party, they are outside Gujarat party. And it was a brainstorm meeting how to develop the party and etc. So some people gave a suggestion, let us create a force of 10,000 people. Yeah, a team of 10,000 people and then mobilize and etc. A person like me who was sitting in the same meeting, they told there was suggestion, and that is what entrepreneurship all about. Why can't we find out one person who's a potential CM candidate and that man can create a team of 20,000? See the contrast?
yeah.
Now we have to find that man within the organization or woman in that organization. That is what we are talking. Yeah, that way. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. So now if we come back to like in the context of the coaching, what role does leadership play in promoting entrepreneurship within an organization? And how can leaders, better support the culture of innovation?
Oh, that's wonderful. So as I told you, organizations are built on or spoiled by leaders. If you want to change the culture, change the leader. Very simple. Leaders who manage teams, large teams, leaders who set the context for the culture, leaders who define the energy and the momentum, leaders who manage people for their own success and etc. are the key to success. Innovation, I'm a bit skeptical about it because the leader himself can innovate. So I feel for innovation, great coaching may not be required because that's a part of the organizational requirement. And I've not seen many organizations who hire coaches to get innovation done because innovation is a output of the industry and etc. But to develop an intrapreneurial culture, there is no other method except coaching. And the leaders need to be coached, as I already told you, because leaders carry a lot of weight of their own stories. They have mind blocks, they have insecurities, they are frustrated themselves, maybe, I don't know, and they are wanting to do the bare minimum. So to get maximum out of them, for them themselves to be first intrapreneurial, coaching is the only way. And then to help them identify the high potentials, to make them see what they are not seeing. Leaders may have a tendency to work with, so suppose if I'm handling a 20-30 member team, I may be favorite with 4 or 5 members, like who are yes men in my team, and those who are my personal
Mhm.
favorites and etc. And they may not be smart, but they are visible. They know how to take work from me. They know what my styles are, and they are my key people. But they are not your key people. They are your spoilers. They are suiting to your leadership style and making the organization go away. It is the other 15 who need to be picked up. Now, if the leaders carry a shadow like this and they are not able to see the good in all people, or they are biased towards a few people, or they are purposefully sidetracking some people who are good, it needs to be challenged and changed. And only coaching can help. Only and only coaching can help. Reversibly, uh, or retrospectively, the juniors also need to be coached. Some juniors are, my son has joined. Some
Okay.
juniors are, some juniors are people those who are not able to talk through to their leaders. They feel insecure. They feel afraid that if I share something which I feel I'm good at, it will hurt the boss and etc. So the juniors and the team members need to be coached for them to go and talk, for them to be bold enough to share what they feel, and allowing openness to mistakes, and retaining and sustaining their self-image, self-identity, and self-efficacy in a manner which does not disturb the organizational objective, but also satisfies their own ego and self-worth. So, I mean, answering to your question, coaching, and coaching is the fundamental way to help entrepreneurship develop. And both the leaders and the team members need to be coached aggressively and heavily to develop entrepreneurship and innovation cultures in the organization. Himani, over to you.
So I have a question here, which is very strong. I don't know how to say that. It is like um, any person in the society or maybe a leader into the organization, okay? They are maybe at a leadership position, okay? No, and they maybe have a junior. Every person has their own potential. Maybe a person into their team can have maybe more potential than a leader,
Yes.
right? Maybe in a society, somebody can have a more potential than to the some senior person. But somehow, across the world, if you see most of the time, nobody wants to see the people in their team or juniors with less experience growing ahead of them. And that insecurity, which is something I think almost everywhere. Do you think something really will change, or do you think this thing will remain the same in the like coming years?
So I see it in a very contrasting manner, Himani.
Yeah,
If I am a team member, and if I am smart, and if I know I am smarter than my leader also, it is my problem and my issue, and it is not the leader's issue. I'll tell you how.
yeah.
I have chosen to be suppressed. I have chosen to be victimized. I have chosen to be helpless. I have chosen not to showcase my skills to the senior management. I am insecure. The leader is not. First insecurity comes from the team member that he is not able to, he's not wanting to, or she's not wanting to showcase what she stands for. Then the question of the leader. The leader may suppress, the leader may not identify, the leader may use political tactics and tools not to allow the high potential to grow. The leader may be the highest insecure animal in the whole system because he feels that if I allow him or her, he will eat my position and etc. And that insecurity is also genuine. I mean, I'm not against that insecurity because we are all humans.
Yeah.
And if I'm a leader in a leadership position, I have created that power for after working after so many years in the organization. I have put my blood, sweat, and tears, and I don't want actually someone junior to me who has just come maybe from a premier business school or whatever to take away my position in the blink of the second. Now, that choice always remains with the higher leaders and the promoters, whether they want to grow a new person who is without experience, not so much loyal and smart, or whether they want to retain a leader who has proven loyalty 10, 15 years, has worked through and has stood the test of the times. So that flux always remains, but I will pass the onus of not growing to the employee and not to the leader. It is the employee or the smart team member who feels victimized or who feels helpless and who feels timeless and who feels that I'm weak and etc. So the coaching or the consulting or the moderation help needs to be given to the employee more than to the leader in this case here. And we have to respect the leader's insecurity. And not all are genuinely bad, but yes, out of 10, maybe one or two are political, one or two are purposefully not allowing the teams to grow, and one or two are politically creating a culture where growth is not sustained. Now they have to be moderated. They have to be told, they have to be punished, they have to be disciplined, they have to be nudged, they have to be coached, they have to be thrown away if it is if they are creating a toxic culture. Something has to be done. But not all are like that, is what I have a sense of.
Sure.
Good.
And sir, with this also, one thing also coming, yes, leaders has to, be empathetic, maybe, have to change the leadership style. That has to be done to lay the foundation. But I think a lot of cultural changes has to be there, because if the people in their team also has that empathy and mindset from both sides, the partnership is there. I think it will become easy for the leaders also to, that bring the changes into their own team and organizations. And so one out of context question which I will ask you, like, especially like, of course, we work towards women, but still I want to ask you this question. A lot of women, they leave the organizations because of a lot of reasons. Maybe they start something of their own. And so many leaders are men. Few are able to, express what they want to have into their career. Many are not. What do you want to say about like the women who are not able to, like, if you say at entry point, a lot of women, they start their career, but you will not find much of them. We will not find at the leadership position.
So there are two, 3 points here.
Yeah.
If I am a woman, I have to accept my femininity.
Mm.
Yeah. The first step that and career comes later. My identity, my being of a woman, I have to accept it. And if I accept that, everything becomes good. This is the first point. The second point is if I'm not able to pursue my career, is that because I've made some choices? I have chosen to have a baby and I want to stay home for the prenatal and the postnatal work. I've chosen to get married at an early age. I have chosen to not to pursue my career. I don't think largely it is because the leader did not want the woman to grow. It is largely because the woman in question or the lady in question made certain specific choices as a part of the thing. And there are always comebacks. So HSBC is led by Neena Lal Kadwai. ICICI was led by Chanda Kochar. Sonia Gandhi is a leader of Congress, and very many. So Thapar, Madam Thapar is managing Thermax. Many corporate organizations have CEOs. You see Namita Thapar, you see startups, you see Madam Alag developing the whole Mama Earth as a business, even after she was a mother. So I'm not against women growing, but women have made choices as a part of their career, and each choice has a consequence. Choices have consequences, positive or negative. Whether the leader has allowed or disallowed the lady to grow, I don't know. I will not comment on it. But women may have questions and concerns about early leaving, which is okay, or some leaves, or I don't know. But are they great leaders? Yes. The emotional agility, the emotional intelligence, the God gifted multitasking ability, the humbleness in communication, managing large teams, the need for power, the need for achievement. All entrepreneurial traits are natural in women: caring, nurturing, sometimes struggling, fighting, creativity, this, that, other. So they are aplenty in usual women, and corporate career-oriented women, these skills are found at all places. Now, there's a choice which you can make. So if you are an aspiring woman wanting to develop a corporate career, you may want to choose a boss who is a male or who is a female, who will understand you better. And if you have a male boss, it is your role to kind of communicate openly, honestly, and sometimes powerfully, to lay down the boundaries in context, to set a work context to be productive and to be aspirational. So I have not found, with due respect, in my consulting, coaching, and training experiences in the last 20 years, of any woman in any organization being disregarded or not given the right to grow unless she makes a choice. I have seen the reverse. When given an, so mobility is a question. So if you grow, if you're receiving promotion, if you're given entrepreneurial opportunities, you may not want to leave family always. And so the whole tendency that men put work before family and women put family before work is the choice which they are making. And I'm okay with the choice. So mobility is a question. If you're in Delhi and if you're told to shift to Bangalore, Mumbai, Pune, Ahmedabad, etc., you may choose not to. And that is the reason your career may stall. Or if you're told to manage a larger team, or I don't know. So I mean, I will not be okay with the question that are men leaders not supporting women entrepreneurship in general within the organization. So the answer is no. It is not like that. I mean, in my experience at least.
Yeah.
But it is the choices that the women make, and there is a sense of non-readiness to accept the aftermath of the choices. So uh, I mean, I'm not telling you to fight, but if the parents pressurize you to marry at an age of 23, uh, you succumb to the pressure of the parent. And I'm not telling you to revolt and rebel, but if you did not marry, so marriage is the whole key. I mean, yeah, if you postpone your marriage, say till 27, 28 or whatever, and you enjoy a corporate life and then develop skills of being an entrepreneur in the employment sphere, and then do part-time work and then do full-time entrepreneurship work, that is possible. That is possible. But somewhere putting family over work, somewhere not being able to raise the voice, somewhere not being able to communicate openly and honestly, somewhere not being able to ask what you deserve for, and being fluid and putting feminism over work is a wrong method. Yeah, you're equal. Productivity wise, I can write it and I can vouch it. Usually, all females and women are better. Are better.
So we
I
say
mean,
this
in
line,
my
like we are human, like there is no man,
yes,
women,
yes,
we are all
in
human.
in my
And
office I have four. Last point. In my office, I have four females and one male, and I am guaranteed sure that if
mm,
I give work to the female, it will happen.
yeah,
Usually a female or a woman purposefully will not cheat. I'm not telling men will cheat, but the task ownership, which is a key entrepreneurial skill, is always higher in women than in men. Always.
yeah,
Is it being exploited for organizational use? I don't know. Are leaders wanting to develop female leaders? Usually, yes, but in some cases, no. And
mm,
therefore, the whole gamut of women entrepreneurship within organizations as women employees, is it suffering in corporate India and corporate world? Answer is yes.
yeah.
Answer is yes.
Answer one thing, like before asking next question, where you have said very right thing. Everyone has their own choice in their life, every person. Now they have to choose what way they are going. And one thing I want to mention here is, I was attending this networking event and I was talking to this one of the male leader at a very senior position in a tech company. And he said, Himani, have you ever realized it? We give the opportunities, but sometimes the way, if I say man has a maybe that knowledge and skills about that particular field, 40%, but still they say, okay, fine, I'm ready to go ahead and I will take this option. But the woman, they if they have 70% capability also, still they want to take step back. They think that maybe still they are lacking and they want to reach at more level and to accept that offer. So this is something like I really able to connect even with my own journey at that moment. Yeah. So I want to ask here is like, what advice can you offer the people who will listen and right now who are here, who might be interested in implementing coaching programs within their own organization to foster the entrepreneurship?
Well, I've been an entrepreneurship coach for all my life, and my key mission in life is to develop entrepreneurial potential of the promoter, of the leaders, and of the organizations. I foresee that entrepreneurial potential development is the only way for organizational growth. Developing internal talent, converting them to employee entrepreneurs is the only way for organizational growth. So, some not one piece of advice, a few pieces of advice, and this is for the leaders or the promoters. Phase one, the leaders and the promoters should try and find out the high potential individuals, men and women inside their organization. Try to give them some work flexibility. Try not to measure them on 9 to 6 and one punch, two punch, one lunch model. Try to have separate appraisal systems for them. Try to give them opportunity for failure, and create a growth oriented organization where entrepreneurialism flourishes. Advice for the promoter is that you are not the only source of the growth in the organization. People are the source of the growth in your organization. So let growth come from people. Leave the growth to the employees and to the leaders. And the largest piece of advice to employees who feel they are smart and those who have the entrepreneurial potential is showcase your ability. Showcase. Don't be frustrated. Don't sit in a corner. You are great. You are good. And in your field of expertise, even if you work 1% extra a day, you're going to be 1,000% better at the end of 3 years. Understand the meaning that intrapreneurialism is not always about starting new businesses within the organization. It is also about uplifting self and team competency towards developing an entrepreneurial way of work. Growth mindset, as Carol Dweck of Stanford has told, I'm a trainer for growth mindset and a coach for growth mindset. I have trained and coached multiple large organizations in that. And I'm coming from the fact that you as a junior employee are junior because of your designation. You're not junior because of your imagination. If you imagine, if you grow, if you feel you can do wonder things, you can do it. Don't let the genius within you die. Create entrepreneurship within. Have small teams. Quality circles can work. And there are different structures and methods, and there are issues also. Like if I start a new organization, will I earn profit out of it? Should I be given more salary out of it or not? Now, that are hygiene issues which organization feel are very difficult, but according to me as a consultant, they are all manageable if you decide to manage them. So, in summary, suggestion or advice to the promoters is have people-led growth. Let people be entrepreneurial. For suggestion for leaders, don't feel insecure. Develop people within you and help them achieve their personal goals, help them achieve organizational goals. And you as a leader also, you also yourself be entrepreneurial. And advice and suggestion for junior team members, you have it within you. You can change the face of the organization. You can lead business-led growth for the organization. You are great. Don't be intimidated by some negative feedback given by your boss here and there. Don't be intimidated by not receiving an appraisal here and there. Don't be intimidated by what your peers are telling you about you. You are great. Your day will come. You can shine. You are invincible. And in your nature of work, continue developing good things, continue reading, continue getting certifications, continue to grow, ask for growth if natural growth has not come to you, openly communicate about what you are doing to the outside world, have conversations with bosses or people, those who matter. Don't be insignificant, be significant. We don't have time, but I can give you
Yeah.
innumerable case studies where people have created organs. So Tata Sumo within Tata was created by an employee. The
Okay.
idea of Tata NEU, one common app for all Tata
Mhm.
group firms, was given by an employee. The Coca-Cola current logo was given by an employee. The idea of this apna car, one car which was based on Jaguar or the Cheetah model,
Mhm.
Scorpio and beyond, was given by an employee to Anand Mahindra. So ideas are no one's monopoly. Execution can be a monopoly of others, but ideas are no one's monopoly. And it is very easy. In one large organization which I'm consulting now, we are using technology to generate ideas. Anyone who has an idea related to work, outside work, we have a technology system where they can shoot the video and they can upload the video. And month on month, we review those ideas, and those ideas which are contextual and which are able to bring the growth of the organization, we have incentivized. Each team has an idea champion. Each team. And
Wow.
is an idea. So as small as changing the furniture, as small as reaching on time, as small as parking efficiency, to as big as starting a new product. So you can give ideas, and then if you're ready to become Tata Innovista is a wonderful example. Mahindra 10X is a wonderful example. Reliance Innovation Foundation is another example. IIM Ahmedabad has grassroots
Yeah.
innovation network, Gian karke hai. A faculty is leading that network. So idea and innovation are not anyone's monopoly, correct? And if you are truly entrepreneurial as an employee, you will make way. You are like water here or somewhere else. So, and the organization is to decide whether I want to uh, whether I want to cherish the entrepreneurial potential of my employee or whether I want to butcher and insult him and so that way. So yeah, lot of
Yeah.
advice. And
There's one
one
thing,
more
like,
advice,
sir, like when you
coaching,
were,
coaching.
yeah,
Sorry.
one thing you were saying, I just remember this founder of Car Dekho. He just,
Yes,
like, yeah, he helps a lot of, employees to go with that innovation, to come out with a lot of ideas,
yes,
and a lot of startups
yes,
has been found by their
yes.
employees. And I think one thing I want to say here is like, I think the way the AI, the tech, the metaverse is coming, that is really going to need from their own company employees if they want to really grow. And especially if I've seen about, like, if I talk about, I've worked throughout my life in the financial sector, still a lot of laybacks are still there. The processes is what the tech part, the employees has to get trained, a lot of culture changes has to be done to match with that growth in the coming years. Yeah. One
So
last
tech,
question, sir. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
sorry, tech is a tool. If
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur, if I'm an employee and I choose to become an entrepreneur in the organization, and if I'm given the resources, the ability, the context, the culture, I will find my way.
Yeah.
So tech is just an enabler, tech is just a tool. Mindset is a higher power than the tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
True.
that way. Go ahead.
So last question which I want to ask here is that, as we discussed a lot of benefits of coaching for entrepreneurship, but can you also touch on how companies can really measure the impact of coaching programs on innovation, and so I would say not innovation like that way, but on the innovative ideas the people will come up and the business growth. Yeah.
So I'll tell you, corporates are smarter than coaches. They will do
Yeah.
nothing which is not measurable. They want everything and every small point in every organization to be put on Excel sheet. So it is not a coach. It is not a coach who will decide how the output is measured. It is the organization which will measure. But given an opportunity, there
Mhm.
are KPIs and KRAs which can be very easily developed and can be measured. And the coach may not want to take the full credibility for all what is happening. The coach is just a catalyst. The coach will just push and help people think better. But matrices such as number of ideas suggested, uh, employee performance indicators, competency indicators, problem solving aptitude, growth mindset meetings which can happen, new business prototypes which have been kind of developed, number of innovative ideas or patents which have been filed after coaching, outlook of people which has been changed. So observable behaviors which come out of a mindset change in employees can definitely be measured. There is no end to measurement,
Yeah.
but all what has happened may not have happened through coaching, but coach can be a catalyst and a facilitator in terms of the growth which is brought. And there are around 300 KPIs which can be developed. There's no shortage to measurement, of course. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the HR head who pays coaches usually bill between 20,000 to 1 lakh rupees an hour. Smart coaches, I mean,
Yeah.
PCC coaches, PCC is by ICF. So if the organization is paying 20,000, 30,000 per 1.5 hour, they know how to measure. And coaches, one suggestion for coaches also, don't enter the coaching arena of intrapreneurship if you're not subject specific. I am a subject expert. I have that niche. And if I tell that, if I'm, and I have a credibility to work upon. My request to coaches, if you don't have credibility, don't pick up that assignment, because you're not only spoiling your name personally, but you're spoiling the whole world of coaching at large. Yeah. So that was.
And sir, before let ask you last you, I just want to say you have said this rightly very said. The reason is this because initially, if I say talk a lot of people in India about coaching, they compare it with the mentoring, counseling, life, and it is a very different thing, which still people are able to educate and
Yes.
reach that knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah. Sir, you have given so many insights today about, how to cultivate an entrepreneurial spirit. And I think it will really help a lot of people who will listen to this. I just want to ask you one of your last thing which you want to say. Yes.
I believe coaching is a new field.
Yeah.
I believe there are very few credible and accredited coaches. And I believe coaching can change the corporate world. And together, as a community of coaches, we need to work very hard, first in explaining and understanding the outputs of coaching. And yes, I understand ICF disagrees of using mentoring, counseling, and therapy and consulting within the coaching session. But if you have consulting, therapy, and mentoring competencies, you are free to use them outside the coaching session without disturbing the professional ethics. So my urge to coaches is to use everything what you know, follow the protocol, follow the professional ethics, and together we have the potential to change the world. Together we can bring intrapreneurship-led business growth in the organization. So yeah, I would also want to thank you
Yeah.
for giving me an opportunity. We connected through LinkedIn, and
Yeah.
you are a wonderful moderator and a wonderful host. For those who
Thank
want
you.
to connect with me through LinkedIn, I am available on LinkedIn as Coach Devang. And Google has been kind enough. If you type Coach Devang on Google, my name comes first. I've
Yeah.
done nothing but good work always, Pisa. My last words for you is very profound line which I've read is coaching works, comma, always. And I repeat it for you, coaching works, comma, always. Thank you and signing off, Imani. Wonderful work.
And thank you so much. I really want to say thank you to you. I remember when I connected with you, and I really want to have this topic because which is very close to heart. Because that's the reason maybe I realized it after leaving my own organization, how my own creativity and innovation has started
Yes.
working. And yeah, I would say to just last one line to our viewers, which we have discussed also, but entrepreneurship is not just only about starting your own business within a company, or maybe like if I talk about going for entrepreneurship, it is also about embarrassing a mindset of innovation, collaboration, and driving that positive change. And coaching begins can be one of your powerful ally on your this journey. Thank you so much for the
Thank you.
people who
Pleasure.
are here. And yes, Devang Patel, thank you.
Namaste from India. Thank you so much. Pleasure.